believe in a limit, and that's why I'm always say I'll be running my own race. I'll be actually try to maintain all possible, but break 2 hours.
They're the pacemakers. Bernard Lagat is the captain. There are 5 teams of 7, and that is the open V that Ed was talking about, with EK Eliud Kipchoge at the heart of it, and 2 wingmen, if you like, behind, all guaranteed to take the wind resistance out of Eliud's performance. 5 team captains. The first of them, Bernard Lagat, he's 44 years old. He's the oldest of the pacemakers in action today. The youngest is just 19 years old. And this first group will take them through to the first 3 kilometers. We have liftoff. Apollo Kipchoge is up and away. And there is the laser pacer, if you like. That is the pace that will bring him home inside 2 hours. And Ed, we're approaching the time for the phase changeover.
He's switching out and getting fresh runners that are hopefully smoothly transitioning into formation so that Eliud can just draft and conserve as much energy as possible.
The pace car has gone. We've lost the laser. It's now all down to Eliud and the pacemakers.
The gloves are off.
I think we can say with some certainty
there
now that he's going to do it.
He's going to do it. He's going. There. Just tell him to move away.
Come on, he says. Come on, this is it. 500 meters to go. He has the Hauptallee to himself. All the pacemakers have let him go. As Ed said, he is sprinting into the history books here. They're cheering him on. 400 meters to go. Let's bring him home. This is history unfolding on the streets of Vienna this morning. We have 1 minute to go. Eliud Kipchoge is on his way here.
It's not going to be a minute.
This humble farmer who used to run 2 miles to school every day and back. He used to go to the nearest town on his bike to sell milk at the local market. And now, through hard work and discipline, he's pointing. Come on, he says. Eliud Kipchoge has the hand of history on his shoulder. He has less than 200 meters to go. Eliud Kipchoge, let's keep an eye on the clock, into the final 20 seconds. Eliud Kipchoge.
Whoa!
On his shoulder, 140, the unofficial time.
There's his wife.
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books in Vienna. 1:59.40, the unofficial time. The first man to run a marathon in under 2 hours. One final lung-busting stride for Kipchoge. One giant leap for human endeavour.
You have just made history.
Yes.
You've become the first man to ever run a sub 2 hour marathon. You've done it.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It has taken 65 years for a human being to make history in sport. After Roger Bannister made history in 1954, it took another 63 years. I tried and I did not get. Now it's 65 years. I have tried. I'm the happiest man to run under 2 hours in order to inspire many people, to tell people that no human is limited. You can do it. I'm expecting more of the athletes in this all over the world to run under 2 hours after today. All over the world to run under 2 hours after today.
Wow, Eliud Kipchoge becoming the first human to run the marathon distance in under 2 hours. That was really impressive. 1 hour, 59 minutes and 40 seconds. A really great run. We saw him try it 2 years ago in the Nike Breaking 2 event. He came up short there, running a time of 2 hours and 25 seconds, but he proved that it is possible last week in Vienna, Austria, where that amazing run took place. Today's video is going to be about not only how good it was for the sport that Eliud broke this 2 hours in the marathon, but we're also going to touch on the running shoes, because there's a lot of chatter over the internet, over Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and so forth, where people are saying that the only reason Eliud Kipchoge broke 2 hours in the marathon was because of the shoes he was running with. I mean, come on, the shoes. So the shoes ran under 2 hours and Eliud Kipchoge didn't. Come on, let's be serious. So it was a new shoe that Eliud used in the Ineos 159 challenge. It was a shoe that has since come out as the Nike Vaporfly. So So this is the thing, there's a lot of speculation about what the shoe has and what the shoe doesn't have. There was a patent that was created by Nike just over a year ago that has since been leaked onto the internet with a design that mimics Eliud Kipchoge's shoe. Lots of people talking about 3 carbon plates, airbags, air units. They're not actually sure exactly what it is that's in the shoes. So we're going to dive into a little bit more of that. And wow, quite frankly, the shoe has got nothing to do with Eliud breaking 2 hours. You know, there have been a lot of talks and discussions about how much faster the shoe makes you. A lot of people have been saying that watch the US Olympic Trials Marathon next year, where athletes who run 2:10 in this shoe will now be running 3 minutes faster. So really, 3 minutes faster? If you take it back to 2017, where Eliud Kipchoge ran that 2 hours and 25 seconds, just missing that sub 2 hour marathon attempt, the first time he did it, he wore the Nike Vaporfly Elite, which is literally exactly the same as the Vaporfly Next. He was only 25 seconds off there. If people are really saying this shoe makes you 3 minutes faster, could Eliud run 1:57? I highly doubt it. We're going to go a little bit more into the shoe, and I'll show you basically where the shoe started. So from the first Nike Vaporfly prototype through to the 4% and the Vaporfly Next and the new Alphafly, Nike Alphafly that will be coming out next year. Let me just show you a little bit of how and where the Vaporfly came about and where it is now. So 2016, in the beginning of 2016, there was the US Olympic Trials, and there was this very thick trainer or racer, people didn't know what it was, that they saw on the legs of Galen Rupp, Amy Cragg, Shalane Flanagan, and so forth. Fast forward to the Rio Olympics, you had this. So this was the colorway for the 2016 Olympics from Nike. And majority of the athletes that ran in the Olympic Games marathon had the Nike Air Streak. However, Eliud, Feyisa, and Galen had this exact same shoe. The upper was the same as everyone else that had it, but if you can see the thickness of the midsole here, this was an old Air Streak midsole, although as you can see it's a lot thicker now. And this was the prototype for the first Nike Vaporfly. It had the carbon fiber plate that ran through the shoe, and this went up to around about late 2016. Then in 2017, Eliud obviously did Breaking 2, the first Nike event. The shoe changed a lot. There was a very pointy heel at the back, and then we started to see a little bit of change to that first prototype, and the shoe became available to the public in late 2017. That was this model, the Nike Vaporfly version 1. So as you can see, they went with a very lightweight upper. The sole changed as well, had the 4 little diamonds at the back, and then one of the biggest differences was this point here on the heel. And this was available to everybody. Kipchoge at that stage was still running in his Nike Vaporfly Elite, which was a much different shoe. And then after the first version of the Nike Vaporfly 4%, along came the Flyknit version. So again, exactly the same shoe, the same midsole, nothing had changed with the midsole, but they gave it a new upper. And this was a Flyknit upper, very stretchy. And the ironic thing about this upper was that this was the exact same upper that Eliud Kipchoge was running the Nike Vaporfly Elite with. So they took the upper from the Elite, put it onto the Vaporfly 4%, and yeah, Eliud kept running with the Nike Vaporfly Elite. And I guess with the rule changes saying the shoe has to be readily available, Nike came up with a plan. Whoops. Enter the Vaporfly Next. As you can see, very different design with the midsole there as well. And this literally was the same design as the Vaporfly Elite, the shoe that Eliud had been running in all this time. When when he broke his marathon world record in Berlin, the 2:01:39, he actually had this exact same shoe, although the version before, where I showed you the flounded 4%, it had that upper, but on this midsole. So fast forward to April 2019, this was announced, the Vaporfly Next. Eliud won the London Marathon 2019 in the shoe. The race was dominated actually by athletes that were in the shoe. We saw many athletes sponsored by other brands that ran in the shoe as well. Awkward. They spray painted the shoe black, put New Balance logos on and 3 stripes, and anyway, they really did do that. So that brings us to present day. There's a lot of talk that the new shoes should be banned, that they're unfair, that they've got springs in. Personally, I think it's a load of hogwash. We need to go back in time and look at the history of running shoes, where they've come from, and what other brands have done. So going back, Adidas were actually one of the first brands to put a carbon plate into their running shoes. When Haile Gebrselassie broke the marathon world record, he actually had a carbon plate inside his shoe. So the interesting story around that is the guy that actually came up with the idea for the carbon plate worked for Adidas. He was a lecturer as well, and one of his students actually, who was in this guy's class, then went on to Nike and was one of the leaders in putting this plate into the shoe. So I just want to go over a little bit of info that is obviously all over the internet. One of my good friends, Matthew Lowe, a very avid runner himself, who's based in London, I just want to go through his Facebook post because he actually summed it up pretty well. And this is the misconception that people have. They're calling for the IAAF to investigate the shoe, to ban the shoe, but actually Nike have involved the IAAF every step of the way with these new shoes, or the new shoe, so to speak, that Eliud Kipchoge has been running with. So let's look a little bit more into his post, where he's kind of laid it out in a few points, and I think they're very valid, to say the least. So just heading over to Matthew's Facebook page, and I think this is one of the best summed up discussions or a little bit of facts behind the scenes as to what is happening with the Nike Alphafly. So as you can see there in point 1, the shoes were designed with IAAF officials in the know. As we all have seen, there's a patent that got leaked that was filed with the US Patent Office. He's written there a few months ago. It's actually a good year and a half probably that it's been, because this shoe's actually been in development for a long time. But let's touch on this. The Nike development teams insist that the use of the carbon fiber plate allow for absolute rigidity and stability in the shoe. They also state that the plates help dissipate the lateral rocking of a the lateral rocking of a shoe. The Zoom X midsole and air gel foam, whatever is inside those pockets, assist with the reduction of frictions caused by the shoe materials, which he's put in brackets compression, road surfaces, and physical discomforts, i.e. hotspots. So there's no energy created by the shoe's construction, nor is there any mechanism to try to. Bottom line, there are no springs in these shoes, and Nike knew that these were going to be contentious, and so they did everything by the book. So actually the IAAF have been involved in the process of the shoe the whole time. So to turn around and say, IAAF need to investigate it, the shoe needs to be banned, they already know about the shoe. And trust me, Nike have done everything by the book in terms of the shoe, and we're going to see it come out next year. Hopefully around February, March, but I guess it all depends on what happens now. So if you look back in time as well, historically, innovation and technology has pushed athletes further than ever before. Look at the efficiencies that ceramic bearings, carbon fiber, 3D printing, and real-time data has brought to cycling, motorsports, triathlon, and running is doing the same now. So why can't we do it in running? I mean, the Nike Vaporfly 4% was so revolutionary in its design that every other shoemaker has started doing it as well. So basically, at the end of the day, Nike aren't the ones who created a carbon fiber plate in their running shoes. It's been around for a very long time, and you know, it just really irritates me when you see comments as well, such as when Brigid Kosgei broke the marathon world record on Sunday, the day after Eliud did that 1:59.40, when she ran 2:14.04, beating Paula Radcliffe's marathon world record for a mixed race, so that's men and women running together. And then you get people saying, well, she didn't really break the world record because she ran in the Vaporfly next. Come on, give me a break. Seriously? All the brands now are putting carbon fiber plates into their shoes, and you know, so many people are pointing fingers, yet they're not really looking at themselves. So the IAAF rule states that shoes have to be available freely to all competitors so that it doesn't create an advantage. However, for the past 2 years, Brooks Running have had a blacked out prototype that's got a carbon fiber plate in, yet it's not available to anyone except if you're one of their elite runners, so the rule's being broken there. Adidas is said to also have a carbon plate shoe now, but that's fairly new into the market. New Balance have a carbon plate shoe, Hoka One One. In South Africa we say Hoka 1-1, but the correct pronunciation is Hoka One One. They've had a carbon fiber plate inside their shoe. They did a whole exhibition race as well around Jim Wormsley that was going for the 100-kilometer world record. And, you know, ASICS as well. We had Ryan Hall going on to his Instagram and, you know, taking a bit of a dig at the whole Nike Alpha Fly shoe and Eliud's run and everything. And, you know, he's pointing fingers at Eliud and the shoe and everything, but what about his wife? She's been running in a blacked out pair of ASICS prototypes as well. She claims that there's no carbon fiber plate in her shoe, but it looks very much identical to the shoe that Jan Frodeno won the Ironman World Championships in, and he said that there is a carbon plate in his shoe. So whether there is a carbon plate in her shoe or not, the fact remains she's breaking a rule. She's breaking an IAAF rule because she's been running in an ASICS prototype shoe that's not available to everyone else. So, you know, every shoe has its features, and it can be marketing gimmicks, it can be, you know, but every different shoe brand will have its features. ASICS, you've got your gel, RGS, Impact Guidance System. Adidas, you've got the Ineos Boost, which was also said to, you know, produce more energy. So there's no springs in the Nike shoes. Every single piece of foam that you get in a running shoe has got a spring type device. The actual EVA midsole is like a spring. It compresses and the energy returns, it comes back up. There's nothing different with the Nike shoes. So is it a case that Nike are just so innovative and they're so far ahead of the game, and now the other brands are like, wow, this is cheating? Get with the times. The other brands are now all coming up with carbon plate shoes, and who knows, it might be a matter of within a year from now, the ASICS shoe might be better, Adidas might come up with something better. But at this stage, Nike have the best shoe. We've seen so many athletes that are sponsored by other brands that have actually lost their sponsorships because they've taken the Nike shoe, they've blacked it out, they've some of them even put their sponsor logos onto the Nike shoe, and they've lost their contracts. So, you know, it's not unfair. The shoe is available to everyone. If you are sponsored by another brand and you don't feel like their shoe is good enough for you, then don't be sponsored by them. Buy the Nike shoe, do whatever. We've seen that happen. It's also in the mind as well. Is the shoe really making you faster, or is it a placebo effect? That we don't know. When you talk about the improvement of the shoe, the Vaporfly was said to be a 4% improvement in economy. Okay, let's just get that out of the way as well. It's a 4% improvement in economy, not 4% faster in your time. I think there's more benefit to the middle of the pack runner, to the back of the pack runner running in a Vaporfly Next or Vaporfly 4% than a front runner. Sure, your legs can feel fresher, you get the same benefit, but when you're an elite runner, your economy is so dialed in that really is there that much room for improvement? So maybe it can help a little bit here and there, but I still firmly believe that you'll see more benefit someone running at the back who's not economically sound than a world-class elite runner who's literally dialed in with his running economy. So this has been a long vlog. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down in the comments section below. If you haven't so far, please click like and subscribe. This vlog obviously was a lot different than talking about the build-up to running Comrades and how training is going. Training hasn't been going that great now that I am on the camera, but I really just felt that I needed to address this issue on the whole shoe, and even on Eliud's sub 2 hour. Lots of people are saying it was a circus, it was a clown show, but you know, over 500 million people, they have said, have tuned in to watch Eliud's run. I have people that are not interested in running at all who came to me at work on Monday and were like, wow, did you see what Eliud did? They were glued to their television sets. Some of them watching it on local satellite TV stations. So many people as well watching it on YouTube. I mean, Eliud's Instagram following, just as an example, has gone close to 1 million. He had hundreds of thousands of followers after the event, and this is what our sport needs. We need that entertainment aspect to it, and I think, frankly, it was amazing. Not only for human feet and, you know, becoming the first person to run under 2 hours, but also just breaking that barrier. Since he ran the 2 hours and 25 seconds, he since went down in the marathon world record in a normal standard non-aided event, and he ran that 2:01:39. We saw Kenenisa Bekele come through and run only 2 seconds slower, and you know, Bohanu Legese, Mosinet Geremu, all running 2:02. He's opened that door now, and the boundaries are being broken, and it's because one man went out there and changed that whole belief that, as he always says, no human is limited. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you click like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts behind the shoe and whether it should be banned or not. Quite frankly, I think that there's nothing wrong with the shoe at all, and other brands need to step it up and come to the party. Not to say they're not. They are, you know, all the brands are having their different carbon plate shoes and different technologies and different foams. Yeah, running is entering a very awesome new era, not only from performances, but from running shoes as well. All the other sports have all their technology. Why can't we? Anyway, thanks very much for watching this video, and hope to see you again soon.